Has this ever been you? Alright, well, does this clip seem relatable at all? Well, that's awful. I'm sorry to hear that. However, breaking keyboards and controllers is some of the least amount of damage to society and others that you can do when you're too passionate about your favorite game. Today, I'll be covering some of those instances. So snuggle up in your nightgown with a warm glass of milk and a teddy bear, because today we're covering real-life crimes that were inspired by video games. In summer of 2016, Pokemon Go was extremely popular and you couldn't go anywhere out in public without seeing people playing it. It doesn't matter what time it was, the fact that it was summer had people out playing the game until the middle of the night. Well, in Missouri during July of that same summer, a group of 4 people aged 16 to 18 tried to take advantage of the fact that everyone was out late playing the game, and they camped at a secluded Pokestop to try and rob players at gunpoint. Pokestops, if you aren't familiar, are real-life locations you can go to using the geolocation feature in the app to earn rewards in-game if you're close enough to the location. Pokestops can be pretty much anything from parks to stores to churches, so it isn't out of the ordinary that a Pokestop would kind of be in a secluded area. After camping at this Pokestop for a while, around 2 AM the teens finally got a player who went for their trap, and they ended up robbing him at gunpoint. It didn't take very long for the police to find them, as during the same night the police caught the 4 teens in a CVS parking lot with the pistol. The 4 were charged with first-degree robbery and had a bond set at $100,000 cash. The US is not the Kanto region. Trainers are out here with guns, so please don't be wandering around at 2 AM alone. In Oregon of 2018, 2 county deputies were waiting for a tow truck to drag away a 2003 Toyota Camry from a completely unrelated drunk driver case. Well, at about 8:30 PM, a 23-year-old man named Anthony Clark walked up to one of the deputies and straight up told him, "I'm going to steal this car," before hopping into the Camry and speeding off while almost dragging the deputy that tried to stop him. With absolutely no direction at all, Anthony was speeding through southern Oregon with the police immediately on his tail. Anthony was speeding down the wrong sides of roads, crashed through a chain link fence, and also ran over 2 sets of spike strips. Was this Camry out of twisted metal? Finally, after 40 miles, an officer spun him out and put a stop to this demon of an '03 Camry. Anthony then ran out of the now destroyed car and tried to steal another car from a nearby trailer park, but was arrested before he could, thankfully. In his interview with police, Anthony admitted to using hallucinogens and told the police he thought he was playing Grand Theft Auto during the entirety of the chase. Luckily, no one was hurt during the chase, and Anthony was charged with pretty much almost everything. Moral of the story is, don't play a bunch of GTA before taking a lot of hallucinogens. In 2018, everyone was playing Fortnite all over the world. Well, that included a 45-year-old man from Huntington, New York, named Michael Aliperte. Michael was playing Fortnite one night and was killed by another player, which upset him so bad, he started sending him voice messages. The kid who beat him probably was flossing on him or something. The other players started sending messages back, and Michael figured out that he was a younger kid. The kid's age was 11 to be exact. Michael threatened this kid and said he would come to his school and shoot him. The boy then reported him to the authorities, and it didn't take long for the police to arrest Michael. It was then found out from his sister that Michael is a father of 3. His sister also revealed that he's going through a lot of stress from going through a divorce. I guess Michael was playing Fortnite as a way to calm down from his real-life stress, but back in the day I was breaking controllers over Fortnite, so it's not really a good game for stress relief. Michael was charged with second-degree aggravated harassment and acting in a manner to injure a child. In 2023, a developer in the Roblox community named Mikael Olsen was upset he wasn't invited to the Roblox Developers Conference, which was held in San Francisco. Mikhail is known as Sim Builder on Roblox and is known for developing the game Vehicle Simulator. Even after not being invited, he still showed up and was refusing to leave while also acting a little bit strange. Security called the police and the police found a loaded gun in his car. Mikhail resisted arrest and even punched an officer during his initial arrest.
Sim Builder's fighting the cops. Sim Builder's fighting the Sim Builder's fighting the police.
This whole deal resulted in the RDC being cancelled over the security concerns, and Mikhail was charged with having an unattended firearm in his vehicle, possession of armor-piercing ammunition, and a large-capacity magazine. Has your sibling ever been too loud while playing games with their friends? When you told them to quiet down, did they pull out a plus 15 great axe on you straight out of Dark Souls? In 2013, these two brothers in Nebraska were having the same exact argument. The younger brother, Luke, was with friends in the house's basement being loud late into the night while playing games. The older brother woke up and told Luke to quiet down. They started arguing for a bit, and the friends of Luke left the room, and Luke got so heated that he pulled out a small baseball bat on his older brother. When he decided that the baseball bat wasn't dramatic enough, he pulled out a real medieval double-sided battle axe straight out of Whiterun on his older brother. Luke only managed to minorly wound his brother in the wrist and the foot, although I'm not really sure how you can only minorly wound someone with that kind of weapon. And after police were called, Luke was charged with second-degree assault and the use of a weapon to commit a felony. The game Luke was initially playing while he was being loud wasn't stated in any articles or reports, but I like to imagine he was playing Dark Souls because of his weapon choice. In 2018, several schools were evacuated in London and Manchester because of threats sent to the schools by email. The emails seemed like they were coming from the Velt PvP server, which is a pretty popular Minecraft PvP server. The emails were ransom emails and stated that if the schools don't send payment, then they will detonate in their schools. The emails were using the Velt PvP's domain, but the Velt PvP's official Twitter came out and claimed they had nothing to do with the threats. The owner of Velt PvP suspects it was some disgruntled player that was banned from their server that set up the threats as a way to retaliate against the server. Obviously, no one was hurt and nothing came of the threats, and the police investigated the attack, but to this day it's still unknown who orchestrated the threats. In Mississippi during October 2012, a 19-year-old named Joshua Palal got into a fight with someone on Runescape. As the argument went on, it escalated into Joshua stating that he would make an attack on his local high school to try and bait or troll whoever he was in the argument with. Not really sure why that's what he went with, to bait the person he was in the argument with, but okay. This threat backfired, and 4 days later, the FBI raided his home. Joshua was charged with a lot. To be specific, he was charged with knowingly and willingly communicating a threat by means of the internet, an instrument of interstate and foreign commerce, concerning an attempt to kill and injure individuals, and unlawfully damage and destroy buildings by means of fire and explosives. Joshua was sentenced to 6 years in prison after the FBI examined his computer and found some sketchy documents pertaining to creating weapons and explosives. Joshua claims that those documents came from a text file he downloaded from a manifesto, and that he was never interested in actually making the explosives or the weapons. The FBI also found in his search history that he was researching other school attackings, such as the Columbine attack, but Joshua just claimed that he was interested in it, and his whole family is in the criminal justice field, so it wasn't unusual to be looking into other criminals and killers. Although he had a few of his ex-girlfriends testify and say that he had an unhealthy obsession with some of these other attackers. Whether this was true or not, Joshua served his 6 years and seems to be doing a lot better. He now makes YouTube videos that are pretty entertaining about a plethora of things, including videos about his time in prison. I think it's pretty funny that he also still plays old school Runescape to this day. I didn't want to include the same game twice on this list, but technically this one was inspired by GTA 4 and not 5, so it slides. There's so many crimes that are claimed to be based around the GTA series that I could make an entire video just on GTA inspired crimes. This one took place in 2008, right after GTA 4's release, where 6 teens in Long Island were arrested while trying to rob a van in the middle of the street by surrounding it and hitting it with crowbars and baseball bats. After being arrested, they were linked to a crime spree that took place the entire night beforehand, where they robbed a woman and her car similarly to the van. The boys, who were aged 14 to 18, were all friends from school and claimed they were inspired by some of the scenes that took place in GTA 4, probably the cutscenes towards the beginning of the game. All of them were charged with robbery in the first degree and were held on a $150,000 cash bail. No one was hurt, thankfully, in their little overnight crime spree, and I think all the teens involved are doing okay now. Although, be on the lookout when GTA 6 releases for a group of 6 with bats and crowbars, just in case they want to have a little reunion. In France, during 2010, a man named Julien Barreau was having a knife fight in Counter-Strike Source with a random player named Mikhail. When he lost the knife fight, Julien was so mad about it, he tracked down Mikhail for 7 months and found out they lived in northern France, several kilometers from his own home. Julien then went to Mikhail's house and stabbed him in the chest as soon as he opened the door. Luckily he survived, but just barely, as if the knife was even a half inch to the side, it would have pierced his heart. Seems like Julien lost 2 knife fights now to this guy. Julien was arrested within the hour and was sentenced to only 2 years for the assault, which is just insane. I mean, he was also sentenced to anger management courses, but I mean, come on, he stabbed a guy in the chest. I wonder if Julien still plays Counter-Strike. I'm sure he would love gambling for knives. That will do it for today's topic. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more. Is there any good examples that I missed? Also, what's the worst thing you've done that was caused by video games? Please tell me in very specific details so I can totally not report you to the authorities. Anyways, it's getting late now. It's time to go to sleep. That's all from me. Have yourself a damn good one.